Hey, Mama Star here. Instead of doing a written blog this week, I'm doing a vlog. And my concept this week is expand. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and the idea just came to me about what I wanted to talk about as far as your own personal growth and expansion. And when I woke up, I remembered a time during my second marriage where I really physically had this feeling of the weekends when my husband would go away, and I could just feel myself unfolding and expanding and being able to step out of the shell that I'd kept myself in and be who I really was. My kids would go away for the weekend. I could hang out with my friends. I could party. I could be loud. I could be all of the things that I pretended not to be when he was around. And I want to note something here really quickly because I do spend a lot of time talking about my second husband. He wasn't a bad person. He really wasn't. We just didn't fit. But I tried to make myself fit. I often say that I got caught in my own trap because I was an expert as a serial monogamist. I was an expert at changing who I was in order to fit the person who was standing in front of me. And in doing so, I denied myself. I denied who I was, and I had this feeling of, oh my God, will a real star please stand up? So I became very conscious of this whole concept of he would come home and I would get small again. And I would try and fit into that box that he had built for me, that I had helped to construct, let's be honest. So when we talk about expansion, we're talking about allowing yourself to take up as much space as you need to expand into who you really are. Not who other people think you should be, but who you are. When we talk about expansion, we talk about the fact that, and I remember this, back in my serial monogamy days, I knew I took up a lot of space in people's lives. And I was often just too much, too intense, too this, too that. Wasn't anything wrong with me. I just wasn't with the right person. I wasn't with someone who could manage me, manage my moods, manage my reality. I was often with people who wanted me to play small, and I kept trying to fit into what they wanted rather than just being fully who I am. And the change came for me when I finally just went, you know what? I don't care if I'm alone for the rest of my life. I want to be happy with who I am and be who I am and love myself the way I am rather than trying to fit into somebody else's idea of who I should be. The problem comes is when you try to do that, when you try to fit into other people's ideas of what you should be, is that it's not sustainable. Eventually, who you are comes out. And so it's on us to be honest about who we are. Maybe, I'm thinking of an example of this morning when my mom was having a conversation about what she thinks my religion is, what she thinks my beliefs are. And I kept trying to tell her what they were, and she kept not accepting that what I said, and she kept trying to put it into her own box. I can't do anything about that. I tried to explain to her who I am. She wasn't ready to accept it. That's different than pretending to be something you're not, or trying on the persona of what you think people want to see. Expansion means you stand in the truth of who you are and you allow yourself to be that. If other people don't get it, they don't get it. But at least you know who you are and you don't have to pretend. You can just be who you are and live your life out loud. Will you lose people along the way? I mean, possibly. You'll definitely lose the people who are not in alignment with who you are. But you will also attract people who accept you for who you are because you are being true to yourself. So if you need help with this, by all means, hit me up, send me a note, let's talk about it, and let's get you expanding into your true self.